G'day cobbers. So I've just picked up this Simpson washing machine. I thought, well, I'll get it scrapped out straight away. Nothing too special. It's of course got a stainless steel drum, so I'll try retrieve that if I can. Nothing else really too special. Simple washing machine. The people I got it off said that the locking part wasn't working, so they just got a new one and gave me a call. But anyway, we'll get started on it. So I'm just going to start by getting this back panel off. I'll keep some of these screws handy to put it back on, save taking up extra space. One more still there. Not sure if that's stainless actually, might be. So nothing really much even there. Alright, so instead, we'll get this top panel off and see what we can get from there. Grandmother bought me a coffee, legend. Alright, so where were we? We've got a decent board here, massive capacitor on there. Should probably get these plugs off first. It's been sitting for a while, this one, but again, I never trust the capacitors. Not that I've had a problem with them, but I've seen some pretty brutal stuff. In regards to capacitors, not for me. And also got that off it as well, just off the top panel. I wouldn't imagine too much being on there, it's just all the buttons and dials and stuff, so we'll see what we can get from it anyway. That one that leads all the way down there. Get some tools, need the cutters. Just cut it about halfway there or so. Bring it up. No, the earth is hooked there somewhere. go back through this way. Oops. I think it's just stuck on that nut there. Alright. Just that one there. Alright. Nice clump of wires there. We could probably put those towards our stockpile that we're going to scrap out. So I'll put them aside so I can cut off all the ends later on. Alright, what about that one? Does this whole compartment come off? It looks like it. Got all these things that are full of water as well. Oops. Alright, so tip the water out. I think that might be the cut-off sensor or something, maybe. I'm not sure, I have no idea with washing machines. First one I've ever scrapped, so. The funny thing with scrapping in the area that I'm in is everyone always assumes that you're charging them money to come pick up stuff, which once I get the I'm not sure if I've mentioned it, but I would like to somewhat try and make a business out of this, as there's no one else in the area doing it, and I reckon it just could be the perfect time. A lot of people charge to dispose of this sort of stuff, or if not, you got to spend money to get a skip, which a skip is just a big bin that you hire. And people just don't want to waste their time, so if I can do free pickups, then yeah. But I would like to, if not, create some sort of booking system, so I can more or less have multiple people in one one specific day, rather than going to pick up and we'll leave that off anyway for now. We'll try and get the drum out. Rather than just getting, what I get a lot is, hey, can you come pick up my printer? And yeah, I'm sort of a little bit out of town, so makes it a little bit hard, and definitely not worth it just to pick up one printer. So I have been holding off on a lot of pickups just to try and build a few up and then do them all at once. But yeah, any sort of big pickup, I'll generally just go in, pick it up, and then scrap it out straight away. Try to anyway. I've got these 3 printers sitting there. I'm just a bit sick of doing printers at the moment. For the very little that you get out of it, yeah, it's just not viable. Alright, now I do want to see if all my extensions will fit down there. They will just, alright, that's good. It just didn't seem like it was turning for a second then, but it was. Alright. So that would be the... No. Alright. I'm going to see if I've got a 8mm socket. I should do. Tell me that's not the most Australian thing you've seen. Multiple attachments. But whatever gets the job done. Might see if I can get them just with the one, because you do lose a lot of torque by having multiple, so that's better. Far out, that socket gets hot. Is it rounded or something? Yeah, I think that one's rounded, unfortunately. Yeah, buggier. That was the last one too, I think. One more actually. Yep, got that one. Alright, now we try and get this last one. I'm going to have to get a new pair of these. These are shocking. Anyway, I'll try and get a bit of view into what we're doing. Just these heap of little bolts around here, just getting those. don't think we're getting that one. One of them we actually snapped. That's alright. So they might be quite easy to snap. I think we might have to resort to that. I don't really want to take the entirety of the drum out. I want to keep it intact somewhat so I can fill all this up with the junk, the scrap steel. I do want the stainless out of it, but this plastic piece is all contained, so I can use that to fill up all the scrap with. But I don't think I finished the story that I was saying, but yeah, honestly, people cannot believe that I'm picking all this up for free. Like, well, for one, it's a hobby for me, so yeah, I shouldn't have to charge people for my hobby. And two, in the end, once I start thinking about resale and all that sort of stuff, then yeah. But anyway, but I do know a lot of people in the area do charge for that sort of stuff, because wherever they take it to, they themselves get charged. So yeah, there's not really a viable thing in this area for e-waste at the moment. It hasn't caught on yet. But so that's why I want to try and start a business here, is because no one here is doing it. And from what I've picked up already, there seems to be quite a bit of business around, and that's just households, not businesses yet. So I have made up some flyers and stuff that I want to drop off to some businesses, try to get some new contacts and that sort of stuff. It does seem to be drying up a little bit. All I've got at the moment is just Facebook posts for my pickups. So yeah, if I can try to get my foot in the door, we might be onto something. And of course, I'll do all my videos as well. Show you guys what's happening and that sort of stuff. But just kind of stumped on this thing at the moment. Just sort of looking around, trying to find what can be done with it. We might have to tip it on its front and see if there's anything underneath. I know there is a big motor under there, quite a decent one too actually, but we'll tip it over anyway and see what we can do. This water's doing my head in. I'll go tip this out. And I've never seen anyone on YouTube or anything scrap out one of these, so I thought, why not? I'll give it a shot. I know they've got stainless steel, so either way that should pay for my efforts on going to pick it up. So, but all the rest, like copper, any other metals, smeltable metals, like backyard smeltable. I know you can melt down steel and all that, but not really in a backyard environment. I know you need very high heat to melt that, so yeah. Oh, that's dirty. Alright, so we'll probably crack that open, see what we can get out of it. I'll give you a look in here. I might have to drop the tripod down a bit. Quite a decent motor there. Might not be able to see the copper in it, but there is a fair amount of copper. Decent amount in there, so we'll see if we can crack into that. If not, we'll just put it as motors. So we'll get some of these wires out of the way just so we can somewhat see where we've got to take it out from. Just cut them. But the plan I'm having with the business, if you've ever seen e-waste Ben on YouTube, top bloke, where I've got a lot of my information from, definitely worth checking out. Always there to help out the young blokes, so definitely worth the announcement. He's been a good help to me. So for residential sort of ones, I'll be if it's not 10 or more items, I'll be charging $5 to pick up in my town, and anything over 10, free pickup. And surrounding areas of my town, what is it? I think 25 items is free. And none of these are in action, of course, yet. It's all just what I've sort of tried to do. I'm making a website and trying to get all that sorted, so just roughly getting prices sorted and that sort of stuff. I'll have to get my old deep reach sockets. The other one's not going to fit. Nope, neither of those. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Quite a challenge, this one, that's for sure. Not just screws, we've got bolts as well, so a lot of changing of tools and stuff of the sorts, but that's alright. Oh, they're quite long. Now we'll need to get that one out of the way. Just enough to get the socket in there. Nah, this plug's in the way. I don't think you can remove that either. Or is it? Oh yeah, I see. There we are. Oh, I see, says the blind man. So what does that do? Not much by the looks of it. Might have to get these other ones off as well, but we're going to have to somehow get this plastic piece off. It's right in the way of one of the bolts. Maybe if we unbolt the motor, and we might just be able to snap it, because I could get a spanner to get those out, but that's going to take too much time. Alright, that's just the outer casing of the motor, so unscrew some of this and see what happens. Whoop, getting right in the way there. That's all the copper spools. They look somewhat relatively easy to remove. Got a fair gap in between them, but so we'll have a crack anyway because there's quite a bit on there. Well, that spins a lot easier now that that's out. Is that even? Yeah, that must be spinning the inside as well, the metal drum. But yeah, either way, we've still got to get this out of the way to get the bolt behind. Yeah. Just get the old kneel pad as well. Save kneeling in all the water. Oh, that's a strong magnet. There we go, that's what we wanted. Alright, so what does that do? Nothing. Oh, I see. So that engages it, that's why it's so easy to spin. And then, yeah, it spins freely. Yeah, makes sense. Can we get this off? Oh, quite a bit of weight in that. There you go. Alright, well, we're getting somewhere. Slowly. Alright. Still can't get either of these two off. It's got a bearing in it, so it could actually be pressed on. Try with a bit of screwdriver action, see what happens. Oh yeah, we're getting some movement. Okay. Alright, there we are. Nice big bearing on there as well. Okay, this is going to be a mission by the looks of things. I think that plate is, not too sure. We'll get this pump off as well. Just can't get to it. There we are. it's on. Yep, beautiful. Alright, so the other pump. Oops. Yeah, we'll see how we go with that one. Alright. That's definitely a bit too small for that. Get a spanner in, mate. No, even that's too big. Should have just brought the whole kit over. Going backwards and forwards. Yep, that's just enough to get it. I can barely move it though. What a pain, that one. Can't even get the ring side on it either.
Two hours later.
Oh, okay. I'll try with the hammer. There we go, got a little somewhere. Nice little motor in there. A bit of brass or copper. Oh, that's actually all gears, that one. Full of grease as well. Alright. That's that out of the way at least. Somewhat. Now the battery's going a little bit flat already. What a surprise. So, really not too sure how I'm gonna get this one, but we'll see anyway. I have got a bearing puller, which might get that off, but I'm not sure if that's what's actually stopping it. Yeah, definitely a mission and a half. I can see why YouTubers haven't done videos on this. They're an absolute pain. That's alright, we found that out the hard way. So try and keep them to put the drum back in, hopefully. Still attached to something, are we? No. Yeah, we got a heap of water in this too, by the sounds of it. I could probably come back up on the camera again now. Can't take you too far, unfortunately, as I have to charge it up at the same time. Alright. It's definitely a pain as well, because I had a decent socket on there that's it's a full socket. I'm not sure what you call it, a hexagon. So it was a hex socket, and not one of the bolt strippers like those ones, but yeah, it still managed to strip it with a fully secure thing on it. So yeah, quite strange, but yeah, she's definitely almost fully rounded. And these things I've got are just pretty useless. As soon as I try and squeeze them, they just start slipping open. So I do need to get a better pair. They're probably about 20 years old. So I do have this gadget too. It's supposed to get strip nuts out, but by the looks of it, it's just not going to open up far enough. So as you sort of open it up and put it on the nut, and as you're twisting it, it pulls itself onto the nut and bites into it. Yeah, either way, we're not going to be able to get that in there. We'll see if we can get a 7mm or something on it. So that one's an 8mm. We've got a 7mm hex socket here. Might have to try and hammer it on a bit and just get it to form around it. So I'll see how we go with that. Doesn't like that. 1mm in difference, but 8mm won't fit and 7mm won't fit. Well, 8mm used to fit, but I can somewhat lift it out, but that's where that one bolt is stripped and stuck in there. I know it's definitely probably not worth it, but it's probably only about $2 or $3 worth of stainless steel, but that's not the point. I just don't like things beating me, so keep having a go. I just don't know what to try. I mean, I could try the proper pliers, see how these go, see if I can get a half decent grip on it. Nah, that's not turning at all, so I think it's definitely going to have to be either a snap or something, but I just couldn't see getting a good swing on it, so we'll try. Nah. Maybe
2 hours later.
I've got some tyre levers here, just for the motorbike. I'll see how they go. They are my mates, so I'll have to be quite careful with them, but I'm sure if they can get a tyre off, they can somehow help with this a little bit. Gets under there pretty good. Just not much leverage room. go. That's what we're after. My goodness. So it ended up just ripping the thread out from the bottom. Oh my goodness. What a mission. I always underestimate the time that it takes to do this sort of stuff, but some nice stainless steel there. I can get all these screws out and just put the whole lot as stainless steel, so it doesn't get downgraded at all with the plastic on there. Oh goodness. Alright, so we'll try to sit this drum back in and we can at least fill it up then with other scrap metal. I've got a little bit laying around. I filled up my last microwave with junk, so just had a few bigger pieces laying around, and this will be perfect to throw the bigger pieces in. Oh boy, was that a mission. Dropping everything. There we go. Alright guys, so I managed to get all the washing machine back together now. So, and before long I am going to be trying some new angles, so I just have to maneuver some stuff around. But for now, I know I always have it down too low like that, so I'm going to have it up a bit, because I'm forever pulling stuff up like this just to look at it, and I'm always pulling it out of view, so and I just see it too much in while I'm editing, and if I'm getting sick of it, then I'm sure for those that are watching are getting sick of it, that's for sure. So I will try my best to keep things in view a bit. Alright, so a decent aluminum heatsink on here. See if we can get it off. Quite clean once I get all this thermal paste off. There we are. So we'll bring it back this way a bit too. That's better. Alright. Stuff's starting to get a bit messy, even though I've only just tidied the shed, but you wouldn't think so. I'll get this crystal off. Fair bit of solder on the side of it, see if we can get rid of that. A few more little chips there, I'm not going to worry about those ones. I think they're just like mini EPROMs type things. Yeah. Not too much on the back, a few little MLCCs, but I'm only, we got a couple of big ones, we can grab those. It's been a while since I have found any MLCCs, doing a lot of those TVs and printers and stuff like that. You don't really get many decent sized ones. The magpies have gone crazy outside, it sounds like. I did do a little research and found out what half of this stuff actually means on the board. So here we've got C16, so the number at the end really doesn't matter. It's just, I suppose, a reference as to which one it is. Like down here we've got C78, so, and C88, C92, so there's at least 92 capacitors, multi-layer capacitors. I think that's what they're called anyway. But the C is what stands for a capacitor, and we've got R here, so I believe that one is a resistor. And if there's one that's got an L, they look very similar to a capacitor, but they're actually a I've forgotten now, but yeah, really the ones we want are the ones with the C's. They are 100% a MLCC. So I'll leave that aside for now for the gold recovery. I'm not sure if I did it on camera, but I've also got these LCD boards and just a whole heap of gold fingers on there, so I just use the soldering iron, just run across and get them all off. But I like to stockpile a few just so I'm not starting up the what do you call it, soldering iron, just to do a 1 minute job. I wouldn't mind having a go at trying to do this motor. So it's just got some metal tabs holding it in. I'm just going to bend those away. Hopefully we can get this part of it out. Then again, this could be pressed in too, so we'll find out. So, is this going to come out easily? It doesn't look like it. Did move a little bit actually, so we'll try with the old hammer. Yeah, that is moving slowly, that's alright. There we go. That's alright. Now the next thing to find out is whether it's going to be a mission to get this copper out. I reckon it will be, but for the amount that's on there, I'd say it's definitely worth it, that's for sure. There'd be no way I could imagine to break this metal away. It's just not going to happen. I could cut each section out. That would make it a bit easier, but to be honest, I'm not too confident with the angle grinder. And it would just take a fair bit of time. I'll have a try, we'll see how we go. Save the battery from this thing. Alright, and some safeties. We'll put this in the vise anyway, just to hold it that bit more. Honestly, I think it's just gonna take up far too much time, but then again, so is unwinding it. So we'll have a go anyway. See how we go. I will mute this because it's gonna be bloody loud. We'll see how we go. She doesn't like that. Yeah. I reckon we'll just try get into cut 2 bits out. Might make it a bit easier for the other ones, but yeah, I'm not gonna sit here doing this. And these sparks are the worst sparks I've ever dealt with. That will have a crack. Alright, we're getting there. Just make sure we're getting some good angles, but yeah, have a look at that. And that scratch there is just from a bit of shit hitting me. So it's like really dense sparks coming off it. So yeah, I've never anything I've ever cut has never been that thick of sparks, but that's alright. We'll keep going. There we go. Alright, so that's definitely a mission and a half. Goodness. So that will probably be quite hot, I would imagine. Yes, it's quite hot. But we should be able to get the copper off that quite easily. But honestly, I don't, with that, the amount of time that took, I honestly don't think it's worth cutting each one. But at least it's a bit easier now to unwind the rest of them. We've got a bit of a gap to go through rather than passing it through like that. Starting on to the next one. We'll cut that there, see what weight we've got, and see whether it's viable or not. We have got a fair amount, I imagine maybe 100 grams or so. Oops. That's where the other ones were. I'll just make sure you guys can see that somewhat, yeah. Alright. Oh, half of what I estimated. So we'll say 60 grams roughly. So quick math, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So there's 12 windings all up. 72, so 720. So it'll be about 720 grams for the whole lot. So that's not too bad. I reckon I could get away with it going as clean copper. It's very, very similar, a little bit darker than the copper I've got there, but I'm going to throw it in there to go through all this work. I will. So this one's still quite a bit too warm, but at least it's where are we there? At least we're able to hold it now. Oh, except that top part, that's a bit hot. So, definitely a lot easier once it's all cut out, that's for sure. So I think that might be our option. Alright, we are. Alright, there we are, we've got light now. Don't know what it is, but this camera just has hissy fits. So we'll just verify with this one again. So yeah, 57 grams. That's not too bad. So it should be, by the time we've done all of them, it should be about 700 and maybe about 700 grams, just to. So I'm calculating from 60, so, and it's 56, 57, some 58, so, and there is some wrapped around the top as well, so a little bit extra, a little bit more. Yeah, we'll give it a crack. I'm just gonna go inside for 5 minutes and have a bit of a spell, get a drink, and I'll come back. Seems quite weak there. Don't want to damage it too much because then that'll just make it harder for us to get off. But anyway, I'll have a bit of a spell and we'll come back and have a start at it. Alright guys, so I've had a bit of a break. So I suppose we'll start on cutting this open. Or finish, I should say. It's not too secure in there. I don't think we'll have enough to grasp the metal. Try to go here. That's a bit better. Still a bit wonky, but it should be okay. The good thing about this grinder too is it's a anti-kick one, so it'll shut off if it starts getting too much vibration or if it wants to kick. So alright, we'll get into it. I have put a jumper on, it's getting quite chilly, and also some gloves to try and minimise on the spark that's coming off it, because it's very, very heavy sparks. But anyway, we'll get started. Alright. It doesn't seem to take as long when you're doing more at a time, so that's a bonus. Oh, if we're getting low on battery, we might have to switch to the old power plug one quite soon, but keep going till it runs out. Just ran out of power. We'll charge her up for just a minute, and no, that's not the charger. Oh, I do actually have another one here. I'll throw this on charge though, because I know didn't take as long as I had expected. I probably would fast forward it on the camera, but that's 12 minutes, so not too bad. I'll definitely fast forward that because not much use in having you sit there and watch that. It's just monotonous. Anyway, we can put it back this way. Alright, there we go. So what I'll do is just empty my scrap and we'll use that on the scales. Unstable. Yep, there we are. That won't fit on. Right, 150. There we go. Whoops. I'm pretty sure that's all the coils. I kind of do have a feeling there's one hiding on the ground somewhere, but if it's around 700, then we should be alright. Yeah, I think that's about right, maybe. Yeah. No, there is one more. I had a feeling I was missing one. Alright, 684 grams. I'm not sure if you can see that. 684. So, not a bad effort. Still, it took a bit of time. In scrap value, that's not even worth $5, so pretty much working for about $10 an hour at the moment, which I suppose that's not bad for scrapping. But I won't be scrapping or selling this to the scrap, I should say, because I believe if I melt them down into bars and later once copper starts going up a little bit, because it's quite low here where I am anyway, it's about $5.50 a kilo. So I'm not sure about the prices over in other states, but here in Australia it's about $5.50 a kilo. Of course, other cities in Australia are going to be a different price. Okay, I've still got all this stuff to process, so I've already had a quick look at this board. There really isn't too much on there. Maybe one IC chip that we could get on the green side. So just that one there. Just make sure you guys can see. It's a bit hard with that reflection right on there, but should be alright. Oh, this one's a bit difficult to get off. There she goes. Alright. Got a few more little ones here. I may as well try and get them off. Sometimes the little ones can be just as stubborn as the bigger ones. Alright, that's really about it. We can get off here, a few MLCCs, but they're a bit too small for my likings. get rid of some of these cords. A little transformer type thing there. I'll have to get rid of my low grades quite soon, low grade copper wire. It's getting quite a bit full. Alright, now these things are what I was curious about. It sort of seems like a transformer there. Quite a solid plastic casing. And we'll see if we can somehow smack it out a bit. Yeah, it's moving. Oh. Alright, now will that come out of that, and can we get the I'll get the big one just so it fits the surface. Yep. Oh. Nice solid chunk of steel there. Now, can we break into this? Might be a difficult one. Quite a decent amount from that. Might just weigh that just to see what it is. I presume. Yep, that's lighter than the stuff we pulled off the motor, so that can definitely go to clean. Looks quite clean as well, so. Well, so 110 grams for both of these, 55 per. Not bad. Just have to try a crack into this other one, other side. That should be enough to work off. There we go. Excellent. Ooh. Definitely a time-consuming job, these white goods, but quite a decent amount of copper. I've gotten almost a kilo for today, so, well, even more, including those CRTs. So yeah, it is still the same day that I did that CRT video, and now this. I just don't like, I love the sense of stockpiling this sort of stuff, like copper, all that, the crystals, chips and everything. I love stockpiling all that, but when it comes to things that are taking up a lot of room, then no, I like to get them done as quick as I can. And I know I've got a fair few bookings coming up, so I want to try keep it down as much as I can. I know there probably will be a point soon where it gets too much for me to handle, and I'll have to either prolong or even put off some bookings. But I'll just double check that, but it should be 110. 109, made a liar of me. But that's alright. Decent amount. I suppose that could just go to plastic. There is some metal in there, but mostly plastic, so I'm not going to do that to my scrapyard. I don't know, I've probably mentioned this about 5 times already, but I've finally found a scrapyard that's not going to rip me off, so quite happy about that. I mean, I took a maybe about 700 kilos of scrap steel. Included in that was about what was it? About 200 kilos of cast iron. I had about 200 or 100 kilos of that, and either 200 or 100 of high grade stuff like empty transformers that I'd done. So full steel, no crap in there, not lightweight, and they gave me $0. So I honestly should have just walked away, but I just couldn't be bothered at the time. I needed to go across the road anyway to go to the transfer station, so I just thought, bugger it, just get it over and done with. They'd already started pulling half the straps off my trailer, so I just said whatever, yeah, and that's the last I'll ever be going to that place. So had a few words around, and finally found a decent scrapper, or not scrapper, a recycler I should say, that takes almost everything. He only has one grade of copper wire, and I've still got to ask a lot of questions whether he takes motherboards, which I highly doubt, but I can only ask, and that's the only way I'll find out. If not, then yeah, I suppose all my motherboards will just go to rubbish if no one's going to take them. I mean, there's a lot of people online that would buy them, but by the time I pay shipping and all that sort of rot, it's just not worth it. I may as well just take it straight to the at my transfer station and get rid of it. I won't get anything for it, but I just feel, I don't know how it is in other areas, but it's bloody expensive to post stuff. I posted a CPU a few weeks back, and it was, I think, $19 for postage for someone that was about an hour away. So yeah, I don't like dealing with postage. But now that old bloke at the scrappers that I used to go to, or keep saying scrappers, bloody scrap metal, whatever you call them, scrapyard. He's just a rude prick anyway. Like, had no manners, no business ethic, nothing. He didn't even weigh. Every time I've gone in, he would never even weigh what I had. He'd just walk out and go, yeah, it's about $2 worth. And this last time that I went to him, he gave me absolutely nothing for nearly a ton of steel, scrap steel. So it was about 700 kilos roughly. But yeah, I just thought, bugger it after that. Just a waste of my time. And like, and I'm doing free pickups around the town, and he even had the guts enough to say that I'm taking it all for free and then I'm expecting money back. Like, well, I've got to do all the hard work to get all the raw metals out. Like, the least I want is just the fuel cost to at least go to the scrapyard. Like $10, $5. Yeah. Just, and the attitude I got from him. I said to him, where do we go to weigh? And he said, no, we're not weighing that shit. Don't pay anything for that shit. And there, that should have been the indicator to just say, no, bug you. Oh, well, we're getting there. Just about done. It's been a bit of a mission, this one, I can tell you, but definitely a bit of stuff out of it. It's kept me entertained, kept me busy, so that's the main thing. Oh. There's a bit of plastic in there, but that'll melt away. I am trying my best to keep them as clean as possible, just so there's less impurities when I melt it. Even though these are like zinc coated, but I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on that, but they're not bronze colour, that's for sure. Alright, there we go. There's still the plugs and the copper in there, so I just throw that in scrap steel. All this can go to plastic. Oh, what a mission that was. What did we get from this one? This one is going to have to go to dirty, unfortunately, but 144 for that one. That's not too bad. Yeah, definitely a dirty copper, that one. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. The next one will probably, if I don't get too much more stuff, maybe the printers. So anyway, we'll catch you when we see you, and have a good one.